Hello and Assalamualaikum. Today me and my friends are gonna present about Vision 2020 policy. There is 4 people that take part in presenting about Vision 2020. The introduction about Vision 2020. Vision 2020 is a goal of becoming a developed nation in 2020. It is a long-term goal for the nation. The vision referred to 2020 according to Mahathir. It is connected to having a perfect vision of 20 per 20. It is introduced by the 4th Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in 1991. The vision called for Malaysia to be a self-sufficient industrialized nation, a united country whose citizens called themselves Bangsa Malaysia, a society of equitable economic prosperity, filled with democratic values, tolerance and progress.
The main reason why Malaysian can unite is one, there is no cultural unity because each nation has its own language, tradition, religion, and living culture. Second, there is no union territory because most Malay are concentrated in the eastern and northern areas that are less developed, while the Chinese living area is more developed at the west coast. This makes the French jealous of the progress made by the Chinese. Third, there is no equality in the centralization of economic and political power. Political power was in the hands of Malays, while the economy is dominated by the Chinese. This economic imbalance makes the situation worsen. Fourth, the last one is the issue of the status of the Malays. The non-Malays assumed that the privilege of the Malays lived. They demanded the improvement of their rights also be done in accordance with the principle of equality, while the Malays insisted on referring to the history of the indigenous rights must be maintained and given special privileges.
Main objective and goals. First, creating a united Malaysia with shared goals. Second, creating a society that is free-spirited, peaceful and developed with confidence in one's own abilities, proud of what is there with what has been achieved, brave enough to face various problems. Next, creating and developing a mature democratic society which adopts a form of Malaysian democracy that has a mature understanding based on society that can be an example to many developing countries. Next, creating a society that is fully moral and ethical, with its citizens firm in religious and spiritual values and supported by the highest ethical values. Next, creating a liberal and tolerant society with Malaysians of various races free to practice their customs, cultures and religious belief, and at the same time place their allegiance to one nation. Besides that, the main objective and goals is to create a scientific and progressive society, a society with high power of change and forward-looking, which is not only a consumer of technology, but also a contributor to the scientific and technological civilization of the future. Next, creating a caring society and a caring culture, which is a social system that values society more than oneself, with human welfare not revolving around the country or individuals but around a strong family system. Next, ensuring a just society in the economic field. This is a society that implements the distribution of national wealth fairly and equitably, with the existence of full participation for every citizen in economic development. And lastly, creating a prosperous society with a competitive, dynamic, active and strong economy.
The actors in the creation of the policy. There are 3 names that will often be mentioned in the creation of Vision 2020. They are Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the Prime Minister at the time, Tun Abdul Daim bin Zainuddin, Minister of Finance, and Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Minister of Education. Mainly because they are the 3 most prominent figures in developing the policy. Respective to the portfolio they lead at the time, being the most important part in Vision 2020. Therefore, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who was leading the Minister of Education at the time, plays a major role in developing the Vision 2020 for Malaysia and holding a huge responsibility of following throughout the goals. The policymakers, especially Tun Dr. Mahathir and Datuk Seri Anwar, believe that educating the masses towards the goals and building a brilliant generation is one of the utmost necessity in this grand plan. Hence, every school, media outlet, and signboards were spreading this national agenda.
Implementation. Objective: to build a united Malaysian nation. First, conducting various community activities and talks related to the unity of people, courtesy advertisement posts through mass media such as Facebook. Second, Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak create One Malaysia concept. For example, One Malaysia Clinic, One Malaysia Shop and One Malaysia Foundation. Third, introduce sekolah wawasan. For example, Sekolah Kebangsaan SK, Sekolah Kebangsaan Jenis Cina SJKC and Sekolah Kebangsaan Tamil SJKT will share the same school facilities.
Evaluation on effectiveness, RMK1 until RMK9 from 1966 to 2010. The idea of One Malaysia and Government Transformation Program 2009, Model Baru Ekonomi 2010, RMK10 from 2011 to 2015, also RMK11 from 2016 to 2020. All the plans that I mentioned earlier are for making Malaysia a developed country.
Vision 2020 did not achieve its goals in 2020 because of the need for a new plan to be formed. Even we already knew that half of Vision 2020 was successfully implemented by the government, we can see the results in these recent years, such as the One Malaysia slogan, which succeeded in uniting our people of various races into a united nation. This can also create a sense of patriotism among the people. However, we also can see the failure results in these years because of Malaysian society's lack of awareness in implementing Vision 2020, as well as the Malaysian government's lack of stability since 2000. A country that has managed to change its economy and lifestyle patterns from agriculture to industry is to have the status of a developed country. Vision 2020 wants the people Malaysia continues this transformation process that has begun since independence because achievements are now still halfway through. This is because the process is not alone involve the information from farming to industrial life, and it also involves technological, economic, social, and cultural change. The society of a developed country is a society which is backed by high scientific and technological skills and expertise that are not limited can scope or modify only, but it must be able to create, add, and renew. To achieve the status of an industrial country of very rapid economic growth is very important. It is of course related to the contribution of the trade and commercial sector, which directly involve questions of capital, investment, competitiveness, quality of workforce, self-reliance, and resilience in the face of challenge. At this stage, the role of the private sector is enormous because it will be the machinery of growth. In contrast to the concept of the developed stage, which is more materialistic, the aspirational Malaysian style development should adhere to more an ethical philosophy based on religious belief. Adherence to this philosophy is important because material process without moral and ethical values will not create well-being, and lasting harmony, on the other hand, brings many advantages. Practice of values poor, as in the policy for the application of Islamic values, will be an internal barrier factor to not above the skills of well possessed. This vision has highlighted the main thing of the social system, which is the development of the family based on the fact that the family is the basis of formation of society, and society be the foundation of nation. This means that the strength and progress of a country begins and lies in the family and the community. This assertion is especially true because it is the family, household, and society that shape the quality of the individual who becomes a citizen and the leader of a country. This culture of a nation that encompasses their value system and way of life, including a caring society and a caring culture, as envisioned in the vision, must be mobilized from the very beginning, and this requires the people to be aware of the importance family institutions in developing the country and taking the necessary steps to create perfect family and community.
The final part of Vision 2020 is the conclusion. At first glance, Vision 2020 looks like an economic vision because it is emphasizing the question of economic development for Malaysia to become an industrialized country. It is to perfect it more than the actual plan because it touches many things relating to social aspects and ways of life, such as the formation and personality of a nation, moral and ethics, national culture, human resource development, and others. Vision 2020 is a framework of action for every citizen to take certain steps in ensuring Malaysia to become a truly developed and prosperous country. In this context, requires some important software, among which is the quality of the workforce produced education system, change in attitudes and values, emphasis on science and technology, planning, and a more dynamic role for the private sector.